Hey there, in this quick video, I wanted to share with you um, an answer to probably one of the bigger questions that you have in regards to how to use the M75 database and should you even use it, right? Because the bottom line is that more than likely you are used to kind of finding gigs on Upwork or inside Fiverr, or maybe just kind of like diving through Facebook groups and looking for, you know, opportunities in there, which there are. I mean, I when I first started my business, I went through that route because that's all I knew. But as I started to realize, and you probably realize this too, it's not consistent, and I'm not really building a pipeline, so to speak, in regards to my sales process. I don't have one, and it's just me kind of hoping that I kind of like cut through the noise, because every time there's somebody saying I'm looking for a social media manager, for example, they end up like tons of social media managers like hit that particular comment or post, and they're commenting underneath that post, and like, how do you stand out, right? Like, how do you stand out that way? And it's hard. Granted, it's possible. Again, this is how I started my business, but as I've gotten older and more experience in business, I realized that there needs to be a better way, a more consistent and streamlined way to actually deliver results for my business. And so the M75 is my gift to you in order for you to actually find that solution for your own business. I'm not saying not to actually spend time on Facebook groups and look for opportunities. You should spend at least an hour to two a day on growth revenue activities or revenue growing activities. And that should include you going out there and pursuing Facebook group opportunities if that is how you if that's where you feel comfortable. It should include perhaps a day of content marketing if you have time. It's all about time management for sure. But one of the things that you definitely want to integrate into your growing efforts or growth efforts is actually tapping into the M75 and like really using and leveraging the database. So with this database, one of the bigger questions that I've had come through via email is, Emely, I think I know what kind of opportunities are in there. I am interested in having my own marketing agency, and I don't want to have a full-time gig, right? I want to tell you something. Most of the opportunities that you're going to have inside of this particular database are going to actually 100% of the opportunities within this database have been manually curated by me at the current time. Perhaps in the future, hopefully in the near future, I'll be able to train someone to actually build this database the way that I want it, the way that I envision it. But for now, rest assured, it's being actually curated by me. And a lot of these opportunities, I would say around 90% of these opportunities are never going to actually require you to have that thing as your only thing. Okay, so like they understand what a 1099 is, they know what a contractor is. These companies, whether they're big organizations like, let's say, Comcast or Disney, or whether they're funded startups, they all have budgets for contractors. They all have budgets for consultants. They all have budgets for a 1099 team member. And they're either going to have systems in place to be able to actually bring you in and streamline the onboarding process, or they're going to pay you to create those systems. So how does the negotiation process go, and how does the conversation go? I'm not going to get into that too deeply, because for that, if you really are interested in mastering negotiations and mastering that sales conversation with these high caliber opportunities, I recommend that you actually stick around and close to me, because I will be launching multiple programs that are going to support you in that. But in this video, for the sake of this video, some of the negotiation conversations, what I recommend is actually going through the actual process, the hiring process. Submit that resume. Go to resume.com. They use AI now, and you can create a beautiful resume, a very strong looking resume like this one that basically tells everything that you do. And if you have a marketing agency, don't put my agency is called the Foundry Collective. I'm not going to put the Foundry Collective as like the main thing because they don't care about you being an agency owner. What I'm going to do instead is actually break down the client roster that I had in my agency at that point. So let's say that I work with Touring at Eye or a Sales Assembly and a Seal. And by the way, these companies in my resume are actually outside of my agency, but let's just pretend for a second that these companies actually paid the Foundry Collective. I am not going to position just the Foundry Collective because the position itself is just going to highlight the fact that I am a good founder, that I have experience as a founder and the founder roles. But as you can tell, my resume is actually positioned for digital marketing director. So the skill sets and the experience that people that are hiring for marketing director may not actually align with the experience and skill sets of the Foundry Collective. In this case, it does because it's a leadership role. So that's kind of like how I positioned it. And I continued kind of like the pattern of digital marketing director, manager, director. So they know that I have been in the marketing director role for quite a long time. And so I am I'm highly experienced. Obviously, you want to put some numbers in there, but resume.com actually helps you build that out completely, very streamlined. And there's a trial there for like $3 at the time of this recording. So I definitely recommend that you actually take a look at that. So go through the hiring process, submit your resume. If they ask for a portfolio and you don't have one, this is the time that you should be actually investing in building a portfolio for yourself. Now you might actually say, oh, but I don't have a portfolio. I don't have experience. If you don't have experience, you can always create mock-ups of things that you actually could be doing, right? So if you're a copywriter, create a website with a blog and showcase some of the blogs that you potentially could write. This is part of you not just creating the portfolio, but also honing your skill sets and being very transparent with where you are at the current state of affairs, right? Don't submit a Google Doc. I had people that have submitted Google Docs to me as a portfolio in 2023 and in 2022. Your portfolios should be digitalized and should be either your actual website or a separate page in your website or from Notion, for example, that actually highlights your skill sets and all of the things that you actually bring to the table. So if you don't have these assets, it's time for you to create them. This is where you need to, again, have a very serious conversation with yourself and start addressing what's missing in your inventory of tools to actually be able to sell this. So once you submit your resume and you submit your portfolio, then go and search for the potential decision maker of that particular position. Send them an email and say, hey, Emily, I just recently applied. I recently applied to the copywriting position that you have open for X company. I just wanted to reach out to you and, just to say hi, and then kind of like pitch yourself in that email, because again, you probably only have that one chance. And being able to do that and that actually makes you cut through the noise and cut through the volumes of resumes that you could potentially go through. If they call you for an interview, go through the interview. Don't mention the fact that you want to be free and screw the 9 to 5 or like all of these things. Don't talk about that yet. Go through the process. Once you have demonstrated that you are potentially a valuable asset to the company, they are not going to care whether you're a 1099 or a W-2. Okay, they're not going to care about that. They're going to be willing to negotiate with you. As a matter of fact, I just recently closed a client that actually increased my pay because they don't have to pay for benefits, they don't have to pay for my taxes, they don't have to pay anything. And I went through the entire process, the interviews with the decision maker, with the HR person, and then the HR person was basically going back and forth with me until we actually came to an agreement of what I was looking for. And then we kind of just moved forward after that. So don't be afraid. Go through the hiring process, go through the interviewing process. Once you have solidified that you're a valuable asset to that company, then you can go ahead and say, hey, do you guys mind, is this strictly a full-time employment situation, or would you be open to a 1099 partnership? And then let them say whatever they need to say. And I assure you that if you have gone through the process and you have been committed to it, they're equally as invested as you are in the process. Okay. And especially if you've gone through at least the first round of interviewing. Now they have a face to the name and a great conversation. And they're going to be like, yes, like I like this person. And I think that she's going to be a great team player, and that she's going to bring some valuable stuff to our team. Now they're invested, and they are going to be willing to at least have the conversation. Especially in today's age, there's, again, all of these companies are extremely familiar with 1099s, contractors, and what the difference is between full-times and all that stuff. So do not worry about that. Just go for it. Be hungry, be motivated, go there and hunt for your opportunities because they're out there. And I will see you in the next video.